r/ask Reddit. What is a psychological trick you know to really duck with someone? Silence. It's a very effective interview technique, because as humans we are conditioned to break silences in conversations. I will be dead silent if I am not a host of the conversation. When you are talking to someone, if you interrupt them and say walk with me in a busy tone and start walking away, they will walk with you and continue the conversation without hesitation. You can let them wherever you want really. I worked with a friend who kept a 12-pack of Mountain Dew under his desk. For a while I'd sneak extra cans back into the box. Not a lot and just enough that he was sure he drank more than the box would hold. He knows. Free drinks. When you get into an elevator with other people, don't turn around to face the doors. It's a common practice in my country and people just stand there being uncomfortable. I hate it. Immediately after they look at the time, ask them if they know what time it is. Chances are, they will have to look at the time again. Hell, I do this to myself all the time. Stare at their forehead while they are talking. It really freaks people out. Jim was onto something. Hand them trash in a conversation. Usually, if you reach out with something, the other person will take it, and if they're busy talking to you they won't pay attention to what you're handing them. I do it sometimes for fun, and the expression I get when they finally look down and realize I just handed them my trash to take care of is great. Yes, I've had this done to me. It fully works effortlessly, but I think that's kinda the point. You just have to confidently pass them the trash like it's theirs. It's not really psychological, but let's say someone is 25 or 30 feet behind me while we're both walking down a hallway. There's a 90-degree corner coming up. I round the corner, then run really quietly so I'm really far ahead of the person behind me. Then I walk my normal speed again. When they round the corner, they're surprised to see how far away I am now compared to how normal I was walking. There is this guy who usually walks home from the train station at the same time. I don't know his name or even exactly where he lives, but he must live somewhere close to me. There are many routes I can take, and I always do what you just described. Sometimes I see him take a different route than usual, apparently endlessly looking for the shortcut I must have taken to be ahead of him. Again, there is no shortcut. Whenever I'm out of sight I'm running just to be faster than him. It's been going on for years. Sometimes I wonder if he knows what I am doing. I forget the exact study, but basically in an office setting you can tell anyone anything, and as long as it's on an official memo, anywhere between 60–80% will comply. I think in the study they had it as take this memo to an isolated room, and most people just did it. Wild stuff. There has been a rise in employees receiving emails from their boss telling them to go buy gift cards for Christmas presents or whatever, then to email the codes to the boss so they can hand them out for Christmas. Nigerian princes must be reading the same studies as you. My boss handles stress terribly, so in one-on-ones, he tends to snap and spend the hour complaining about people. Sometimes people end up getting chewed out or yelled at in a meeting that's supposed to be about their development. When I first began in my department, he noticed me putting on perfume and said his wife wears the same one. It's not anything fancy, just one that's widely known. Every time I go into my one-on-one with him, I apply the perfume right before. He generally speaks very softly to me and doesn't snap at me like he does with others. And I'm pretty sure it's because he smells me and thinks of his wife. Ducked up that it takes that to get a manager to treat you humanely, but it works. If you want to really mess with someone, go up to them and ask them, hey, do you ever get that creepy deja vu feeling? Then like a week later wear the same thing and ask them the same question. I've done this to so many people and their reactions are hilarious. I think I might start pranking my students with this. Point out something that someone does all the time. One of my co-workers would leave the office at the end of the day and forget his headphones. So he'd leave the office and have to run in again to grab them. I told him I noticed he always forgot his headphones, and how he's self-conscious about it and never forgets them anymore. Offer somebody gum but don't take a piece for yourself. Look at the pack, flip it over, and say okay as you put it back into your pocket. Tell your family you're going to get cigarettes, and then never come back. Psychologically duck em good. Look distractedly at their nose or some part of their face. then scratch or rub the corresponding part on your own face. They'll supposedly get confused and think they have something on them. This was from the book Mind Control, The Ancient Art of Psychological Warfare by the dubiously named Ha Lung. My emotionally unstable brother bought this book and I had to see what the hell he was actually reading. The author sounds like a nutcase through his writing. His real name is Ashida Kim. No, actually that's fake too. Radford Davis. He's a self-trained wannabe ninja who sells fake certifications. ABD posts dubious info on martial arts and secret ninja techniques from his trailer in Florida. If you're close-quartered with someone, you can intentionally choose one word out of the lexicon to mispronounce. Swear up and down that your way is the correct way, and the correct way is actually the wrong but popular version. After months of intentionally mispronouncing the word shrimp, my mother now says scrimp. It's been 2 years and I can't undo this. Help. That's wild. My father says Walmart instead of Walmart. I tried correcting him 100 times and obviously say Walmart myself, but he was always like, oh okay, Walmart, and never changed how he says it. Don't worry, you can hardly notice it. Say have a good day and then follow it with something applicable only to them. Then watch them say thanks you too, only to realize what they said doesn't make sense. I do this with Uber Eats drivers all the time. Have a great day. Drive safe. Thanks. You too. Wait. I like to be on the other side of that. I'll say thanks you too purposefully in situations like that. Most commonly at the movies when the ticket checker tells me to enjoy the movie. If you have access to their computer, take a screenshot of their desktop and set that screenshot as their new desktop image. Then hide all the icons in a folder. They'll go nuts trying to click the images, but they're just part of the wallpaper. If somebody is talking and talking, giving you no chance to say what you want to say, drop something very loud on the floor then begin to talk. I just imagined myself at someone's house dropping an antique vase or something just to get my voice heard like some kind of lunatic and think that would be hilarious. I can make my pupils really big on command. It's some weird thing. So I'll be having a conversation both looking at each other and slowly I'll begin to increase the size of my pupils until it's at the max and the person I'm speaking to will kinda stop the conversation and be all like WTF. The reason people do that is because you look like you're on drugs. Tell someone you want to play rock paper scissors as you're both getting ready to count down. Compliment their shirt or something to throw them off and start counting down. Then you pick rock. When you interrupt someone's concentration during the game, they automatically go to the most recent thing in their head, which will be scissors, rock, paper, scissors. It works every time until they realize you're ducking with them. To make it even more effective, compliment their scissors. Adding real quick to the end of a request adds a sense of urgency that compels people to do whatever you tell them. Example: Dari, give me your wallet real quick. And before you know it, Dari hands you his wallet. For me is also powerful when asking someone to do something. People like to think they are doing a favor for someone as opposed to just performing an action after being ordered. I had a friend that would casually eat a slice of American cheese while taking orders at a particularly rude table. Not say anything other than normally asking what they wanted to eat. Bite of cheese. It would immediately make the guy trying to impress his date by being awful to the server totally docile because it was so awkward. My favorite is the slight lean and making a face like you're farting. I only use it to duck with people. I don't actually fart. It'll derail any conversation. When they are angry with you, simply say, "You seem upset. What's the matter?" Then smile. If that doesn't work, punch them in the throat. Nursery rhymes. Hum a few bars, stop, then start a few bars later and repeat. If you pick one person and one song for that person, it can be quite annoying, especially done over a few days or weeks. Had a group of engineer overseers, 3 of them to be exact, that I would always use 3 blind mice every time they got close. Took them about 4 months to finally say please stop. Ducking jingle bells. A coworker knew I hated Christmas music and would hum it just to irritate me. It got to the point he would tap out the rhythm with his hammer and whatever we were working on and would watch me get red with anger each and every time because it sticks in my head for days. With zero context, ask someone who did they tell you that to, then just watch as pure confusion washes over their face. The sentence means literally nothing and it is fantastic. This was bad to read while high. If you're eating with them, ask them a question as soon as they take a bite of food. Call them something they are wearing by choice. Whatever you say. Turtleneck. Sure thing. Pink shorts. Yeah, that'll work. Cock ring. If you turn your head to look at something, people tend to mimic your behavior to see what you are looking at. It's instinctual. So I will look at random emptiness, and if people look at where I am looking, I ask, do you see that? When they say no, I reply, I gotta take my meds. Or something similar. Some people have lively reactions. It's fun to duck with people's heads. When disagreeing with someone, try replacing but with and. It is remarkably disconcerting when the person you are arguing with stops arguing with you and you don't realize it. It's been proven that people will stand in a long queue, even if they have no idea what it is for. People do it all the time at festivals and things. Start a queue with your friends in front of a trash bin or something innocuous. Then everyone just casually walks away after a load of people not in on the joke join the end of the queue. I always say thank you in a different language each time I get off the bus. Say shop. Say shop again. Say shop 5 more times. What do you do at a green light? I bike commute to and from work. I've found that when drivers road rage towards me, nothing gets under people's skin more than not being mad as well. When they yell, swear, honk, etc. All I do is laugh or do the crying pantomime, and it usually sends people through the roof. They hate that I'm having a good time when they are raging. When they're talking, glance at something behind them. Go back to making eye contact immediately. Pause for a second, then glance at the same spot again, but make some subtle facial expression for a split second, like confused, concerned, intrigued, etc. They'll probably look back. If they do, ask them what they're looking at before they ask you. If you've been in a space in close proximity to a stranger, elevator, library, etc., and neither of you have acknowledged each other or spoken, when you go to leave, say it was nice to meet you, then walk away. While in a conversation with someone, just smoothly hand something over. They will automatically take it, and vice versa. If you take something from their hand, they will automatically hand it over. One time back in high school while working at a pizza place, we put a blanket on one of the manager's cars with a note under the windshield wiper that said, "Here's so you can sleep with the fishies." That was over 20 years ago. He still sometimes brings up the mistaken mafia death threat to this day. The German Stasi used to break into dissidents' houses and move all their furniture just like an inch in one direction to duck with them. What does yes spell? Yes, what does EYS spell? Most of the time they'll say yes. It worked on my wife and I busted out laughing. It took her a solid 5 minutes and called me an a-hole. Easiest way I know is when walking into an elevator. Don't turn around and look at the door. Just stare at the wall in front of you after you hit your button. People get freaked out so easily BC you aren't doing what normal people always do, and it messes with their head trying to figure out what you are doing it for. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.